Hello, everyone, and welcome to the last episode of Coffee with Partners this year. With this episode, we're closing a series of online interviews in which we give the floor to session organizers of the European Week of Regions and Cities. My name is Betty. I'm from the European Committee of the Regions, and together with Manu from DG Regio, we will guide you through today's session, which is dedicated to digital transition, last of the four topics of this year's EU Regions Week. But before we dive in, let me just remind you that the registration for the event is open. You can browse through the sessions and register for the sessions of your choice, either via the event's website or by downloading the app to your mobile devices. So this year it's even easier than ever before. But now let me introduce our two special guests for today. On one hand, we have here Julia Domak, who is board member of the Covenant of Mayors and a director of Regea, the Northwest Croatia Energy Agency. Welcome.
Thank you.
And then we have here Dr. Rick de Vries, senior researcher at the European European Forest Institute. Welcome.
Thank you.
And now, without further ado, I give the floor to you, Manu.
Great. Thank you, Betty. Let's start with the first question. Julia, could you give us a quick introduction of yourself, your organization, and the region you come from, for example?
Yeah, sure, with pleasure. For last 13 years now, time really flies. I'm the managing director of Northwest Croatia Regional Energy Agency, the biggest and one of the most active energy agencies in Southeast Europe, definitely. I'm also the president of FEDEREN, European Association of Regions and Energy Agencies, based in Brussels now doing my third term. I'm, as you said, a member of political board of Covenant of Mayors. I'm the only non-mayor there. And from last year, I'm the first, actually, in Croatian history, I'm the special advisor to the Croatian president on energy and climate. Wow.
And what we can expect from your participation in the Regions Week?
Well, we will try to demonstrate what are the local regions, local governments, regions are doing. They are the most active part, of course, and they have amazing experience and very inspiring work, which actually launched this green transition already some times ago. So Covenant municipalities are taking action and delivering projects on the ground. And well, this is actually, I think, the most important part of all has been all climate action so far. So what we are trying to do is to bring together the Covenant community and the national ambassadors of the Committee of Regions, with all those interested in taking climate actions, with the ultimate goal, of course, to make a strong network, to collaborate together and to deliver, to make a synergy which will make the actual change.
Okay, thank you. We will come also later to discover more in your session in the second round of questions. What about you, Rick? What can you tell us about your organization, the participation in this EU Regions Week of the European Forest Institute?
Yes, thank you for the invitation. I'm leading the urban forestry team at the European Forest Institute, where we are looking at the role of trees, woods and forests in and around cities and towns for the society as a whole. And this is, well, starting from creating clean air, but also, and that's why we have been suggesting this our session in the EU Week, the very important impact of trees and forests on public health and human health. So, well, together with one Erasmus Plus project and 4 Interact projects, we will be shedding a bit light on this important relationship between trees and public health.
Okay, Rick, I stay with you. Could you tell us more precisely why our viewers should sign up for your session today?
Yes, well, there, of course, we all know, and the COVID crisis has illustrated this, that green areas in and around cities and towns is important for us. But I think, and we all think, all the partners in the session, that there is much more possible when it comes to really facilitating these benefits of nature and green space for the health of people. It's well, there is now this concept of ecosystem services, which is looking into all kind of benefits that nature is creating for the society. Uh, Human health is maybe one of the less known benefits of nature. Although, when we look at it at an economic perspective, and definitely in more urbanized regions, it's maybe the aspect which has the most or the highest potential and the highest potential value for the society when it comes to economic terms, but also when it comes to the health of people. We all see a rise of mental health issues, and nature and visiting nature, but also only looking at nature can really help people to cope with stress, work-related or family-related stress, and so on, to prevent people becoming sick, but also help people to become sick. So we will give some examples of projects, and also we will be introducing some new tools that can be helpful for public authorities or entrepreneurs to work on this relationship between nature and public health.
Indeed, thank you for also for keeping the conversation going on this subject, and we all rediscovered the role of nature during the last 2 years, how much can be important for our daily lives to have also green spaces, especially those living in urban spaces. So your session will be on the 12th of October at 2:30,
Yes,
right? Yeah.
that's correct.
And
Yes.
thank you. And Julia, can you tell us something more on your sessions that you are having the day after, on the 13th of October, and in which you will be the main speaker, right? Why should people sign up for it?
Well, we all know that the Covenant of Mayors brings together local governments, regions, member states, citizens, local stakeholders, and offers the key political tool to support successful green transition. In the session, we are going to demonstrate how the Covenant of Mayors multi-level governments works in practice. So do expect a lot of concrete and practical examples, a lot of interaction between people who are deeply involved in the projects, and participants will also have opportunity to learn from examples and to meet the European Committee of the Regions and national ambassadors who are actually connecting Covenant community at the national level and allowing to tailor the initiative to fit the expectation of citizens. So it will be very dynamic session. We hope the first panel of speakers will present, as I said, very concrete examples, and then a second session will be again in very interactive format, in format of local action tables, where we will have opportunity to go more into depth on each of the topics and continue to learn and exchange about concrete actions led by regional authorities and entities. So the purpose of the session will be, very concrete exchange of very concrete examples, networking, and hopefully mobilizing and motivating people to replicate and to improve and enhance that concrete examples.
So it will be also an opportunity to discover more on this movement made of different local authorities gathered around the same big cause. And can you tell us also a bit the story behind this bottom-up initiative towards a fairer and climate-neutral Europe?
Yeah, well, this current year, the 2021, is an important milestone for Covenant of Mayors Europe. opening a new, more inclusive and more ambitious chapter. Well, you know probably, and our participants know about renewed commitments from mayors, regional policymakers, and public and non-profit organizations, working and opening the way for fairer climate-neutral Europe. Well, from the beginning, that was the main point in Covenant of Mayors, but now even more, there is a strong ambition to surpass the targets of the Paris Agreement. We know how important that is. Covenant municipalities now commit to reach climate neutrality by 2050 by increasing emission reduction targets, implementing adoption to climate change measures, and alleviating energy poverty through a just transition. So this is very ambitious. This is very important. And the Covenant community and the European Commission will join together to celebrate the Covenant renewed ambitions on 7th of October at the European Covenant ceremony, which is going to be opened by Vice President Timmermans. No need to say the Covenant enjoys direct support of the President of the European Commission, who recently addressed the letter to all mayors in Europe, thanking the Covenant of Mayors community for their continuous engagement and achievements over the years, and inviting all the cities, well, regardless of their size, to join the Covenant and to make a European Green Deal a reality. And I would say the Covenant, and I was there from the beginning, the Covenant of Mayors was really setting the scene for European Green Deal. And well, we proved, I think, in this probably one of the, or probably the most successful European initiative, that only together we can make a success.
And I was browsing your website yesterday, and could see that over 40 municipalities have already joined this global movement, let's call it. So with the structure also as such, it stands also a true representative of the European diversity. And Rick, let me ask you, first of all, how are European forests doing?
That's an interesting but difficult question to answer in the few minutes we have. Well, overall, I think definitely the interest in European forests is rising from all kinds of perspectives. We see that more and more people get interested, more people go to forests, definitely also shown during the COVID pandemic, when some forests and nature areas have seen 2-3 times more visitors than they ever have seen before, which of course is interesting, but also comes with some challenges on how to guide these streams, how to minimize the impact of visitors on the forests. The European forests have also are a huge resource, although some countries have very limited amount of forests, like the region of Flanders in Belgium, where I'm living, but also Denmark, for instance. Other countries like Finland have a very high resource of forest, and of course, this also brings the challenge that a forest in Finland has a totally other type of management and ownership, but also governance perspectives, than a forest in close to, for instance, my city, which is Ghent in Belgium here, where lots of people have interests and have their ideas about how to manage the forest. What we see, of course, also that the forests can be a very interesting tool or nature-based solution for the climate crisis, both because they can store carbon, or they can have a positive impact on the carbon cycle, but also forests have or are impacted by the climate change. On the one hand, we had the droughts in last summers, before this summer, which is also leading to damage in forest, and also bringing additional diseases and pests to forests, like the bark beetle. So there are a lot of challenges, but also a lot of opportunities when it comes to forests. And finally, let's not forget that the forests provide a very interesting material, which is wood, which is a carbon neutral resource for building, for instance. And by using wood, we're also contributing to carbon neutrality and to storing carbon for a longer time period. So there are lots of challenges, but also lots of opportunities for forests in Europe.
And in all of these pictures that you just gave us, there is also an important part played by local authorities, project beneficiaries, and I know that during your sessions, next 12 October, you will give the floor also to to showcase some of the best practices adopted by European cities to improve the relationship between citizens and European and green spaces. Can you tell us something more? Can you give us some examples?
Yes, so we will have the results of 4 Interact projects where public authorities, local authorities, are showing what they have been doing to strengthen the relationship between forests and nature and the citizens, but also the city of the residences. So our approach is very much, our focus is on this health aspect. And one of the things that cities have been doing, or local authorities have been doing, for instance, is supporting bringing people to forests. People are sometimes not coming to a forest or nature site because they do not know it. So local authorities have all their communication channels they can use to shed the light on the existing forest or the existing nature, which is sometimes close by, or which is close by, but sometimes not really known to people living in cities and towns. That's one item. Also, forests are very interesting for education, and by bringing pupils to the forest or nature, this is also a way to bring their parents to the forest, because we see when we have school children in the forest or in a nature reserve, sometimes they bring their parents some weeks later on because they were so happy with the visit to the forest. So this kind of initiatives will be showcased. Also, for instance, the role of entrepreneurs, of independent entrepreneurs who are providing activities in forest, activities which are also related to public health and well-being. And there we also see an interesting role for local health departments, which can really facilitate the use of forest and nature as a health providing facility, or a health supporting or even caring facility and caring resource for their citizens.
So let's hope that this will help other communities across Europe to adopt the same ideas, to promote the same similar initiatives, even at the cross-border level, because forests know no borders. So time is up for today. Let me thank you, Rick and Julia, for being with us today. And it was very nice to have this chat with you. We wish you a lot of luck with the preparation of your sessions for this 19th edition of the Euregions Week, which is kicking off next Monday on the 11th of October. Now I will pass the floor to Betty again to let her draw the final remarks. And thank you again.
And I also have a few thanks to share. Julia, Rick, thank you so much for being here with us today. Also, dear viewers, thank you for watching. And don't forget, you can register for the sessions either via our browser or by downloading the Euregions Week app. And last but not least, since this is the last episode, I would also like to thank you, Manu, for being such an amazing co-host in the 4 episodes that we've had. So I hope to see you all virtually at the Euregions Week 2021, 11th to 14th October. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for the invitation. Bye.